Hi, my name is Mya Williams, and today I'm going to be showing you how they made clothing in the Middle Ages and how trade impacted the materials used. All the clothing was made by hand because there are no shops or stores that you could go to and get a t-shirt. Before trade was a big part in Europe, clothing was mostly made with linen or cotton, but with trade, silk was used for its smooth texture and wool was traded for warmth. Silk, linen, or cotton were used to combine for smaller summer months. But in the winter, people would wear undergarments of wool and silk to keep them warm. I'm going to be working with wool from Pearly Shell Fiber Arts in Ilwaco, Washington. Sheep were shorn with large scissors called pivot scissors. These scissors were usually made of bronze and iron and allowed the people shearing the sheep to have full control over where the blade is. To start, lay out the fleece and start picking any debris you see. Make sure you get it all. To wash wool in the 1800s, you would boil some water and then put it into a large tub. You want to wash wool because it'll get all the lanolin out, which is the sticky oil stuff that is in the fleece. So you're going to want to put it into a bag. I'm using a mesh laundry bag. And you're going to want to make sure you get every little piece. For soap, people would boil fats with ashes. This soap wasn't very effective because it didn't have very many cleaning agents in it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use dishwasher soap. So you're going to pour your soap into your hot water because hot water removes lanolin. If you use cold water, it'll just make the lanolin stick to the fiber more. And then you're going to put it in and you're going to push it down with a stick because the water was too hot for me to use my hands. You're going to repeat this 2 more times and then lay it out flat to completely dry. After your wool is completely dry, you're going to make rollags. For this, you're going to need 2 sticks and a pair of carding brushes. Carding brushes were 2 wooden brushes with leather with metal teeth sticking out. The purpose of carding is to get all the fibers laying straight so you can spin evenly. First, you're going to hand tease, which is just pulling all the wool apart. Once you've done that, you're going to take a small piece and you're going to lay it on the carding brushes. Then you're going to take your other card and you're going to brush it out until all of the fibers are laying straight. Once your hand cards are full, you're going to make rollags. Rollags are fiber rolled on itself, and in the Middle Ages they would use this because they would do woolen spinning, which is a style of spinning which you spin from a rollag, which is just wool rolled on itself, like I said before. And so they would pull it and it would make it really thick so you wouldn't have to spend as much time making it, and you could knit big bulky thick items that would keep you warm all winter. To make a rollag, you take your 2 sticks and roll it off the card. You want to make sure to put some pressure on it so it stays nice and tight, so you don't want any loose fibers hanging out. Then you're going to go over with your hand and smooth it all down. Lastly, you just take it off your sticks. And that's a rollag. Before trade, people used drop spindles. Drop spindles was a wooden shaft driven by a weight either on the bottom or the top of it. As you see here, I am pulling the wool out from the rollag and it's twisting up all nice. Drop spindles were especially used to create thread because of the weight. It would weigh it down and make it even thinner. Once it's strong, you want to wind it on and then you can just keep going. After trade, spinning wheels were introduced by India. To use a spinning wheel is much more efficient and faster. All you have to do is treadle with your foot and then pull the thread and keep pulling it until it gets long enough, and then you let it into your spinning wheel. This was a lot more fun and efficient way to do it because you didn't have to stop or worry about if your drop spindle was going to stop spinning. Spinning wheel works by me treadling, which in turn moves the big wheel, which moves the cotton string that goes around the wheel and the whirl. Then it turns the whirl, which turns the bobbin, and then the yarn I'm making, that's how it twists it, and then you just pull it until it gets the length you want and the strength, and then you let it into the spinning wheel. After you have 2 separate bobbins full of yarn, you're going to put them onto a lazy Kate, which is this thing on my lap. It's especially used to do 2 or 3 plies. All you have to do is put the wire through the bobbin, and then as you see I'm pulling it, and so it pulls it evenly, and make sure you get a well-balanced ply. Then you're going to set it on the floor and bring it over to your lap. Make sure to put your free bobbin on to your spinning wheel. Then you're going to bring it through the orifice, which is the hole that the yarn goes through and able to wrap onto the bobbin. And you're going to put your tension band on so your yarn can go onto your bobbin. Next, you're going to grab your 2 pieces of yarn and twist them in the opposite direction you spun it, so it can be a well-balanced and strong yarn. To check you have a balanced ply, you're going to want to stop your spinning wheel and wrap up the yarn. If it wraps up on itself, it's either is underplied or overplied. Once your yarn hangs loose and does not twist up on itself, then it's a well-balanced yarn and will not kink up while you're knitting. The final step in spinning yarn is to remove it from the bobbin and put it into a skein winder. So you're going to want to put it onto your lazy Kate again. And the skein winder I'm using is a Turkish skein winder. This was used because it was compact and it was easy to measure how much yardage you had, which would make sure you had the right amount of yarn to make your project. This is what it'll look like when it's all twisted up. So first you're going to tie a knot onto one of your sticks, and then you're just going to wind it. And you're going to keep winding it until your bobbin is completely empty and all the yarn is on your skein winder. Yarn is wound up, you want to count all the strings so that you know how many yards you have based on which measurement you chose on this skein winder. After you've counted the amount of yards, you're going to want to tie both the beginning and the ending ends. Just tie them into your yarn skein. Then you're going to take it off and you're going to twist the 2 ends and pull one loop through the other and let it twist on itself, and that's called a skein of yarn. This was an efficient way to store your yarn so it wouldn't get all tangled in itself. In the 1800s, the 2 most popular things to do with your spun yarn was to weave cloth or knit. Here I am knitting a sweater. Knitting was a very important part in the Middle Ages. Every lady in the household knew how to knit, because it was very important to survive and stay warm, whether it's to knit hats, socks, or big items like shawls or sweaters. And that is how clothing was made in the Middle Ages and how trade impacted the materials and the process that was used. Hope you learned something new. This was Mya Williams, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.